Today I'm talking about episode 3 of Win or Lose, titled Raspberry, which refers to the bruise a ball player gets when sliding towards a base. I didn't know what raspberry meant, so thank you Wiki for answering that question. Thank you Wiki, I love you Wiki. These episodes have gotten progressively sadder, and this one cuts the deepest. The first episode dealt with self-sacrifice. The second was about self-sabotage and shutting people out. This episode deals with anxiety and parental neglect. This combination leads Rochelle, the pickles catcher, down some dark and downright dangerous paths. One of my favorite aspects of this series is how no two episodes are alike. Each one tackles a different personality trait through the lens of various characters. Not only that, but the animation style varies enough to make each episode feel unique to its focal character. The color palette also changes in a way that drives home whatever emotion our respective protagonist is feeling. In Lori's episode, we had bright overhead lighting giving a heavenly look, contrasting against the shadowy surroundings. Mr. Brown had some wide shots with darkness surrounding him, representing the emptiness he feels. And for Rochelle, they have more tight shots with glowy fluorescent lighting, giving a claustrophobic impression. The aesthetic of this episode captures that feeling of panic like nothing I've ever seen. You really get a sense of, for lack of a better term, gravity of the situation. It starts small with a ball floating just out of Rochelle's reach, and gradually, throughout the episode, culminates to whole neighborhoods floating apart, leaving Rochelle in a void. The catalyst for this episode sparks off when Coach Dan informs everyone the cost to play next season will be an additional $600, and Vanessa, Rochelle's mom, can't afford the fees. Scratch that, she doesn't even know about the fees, so you know what, it's kinda hard to fault her on that one. So Rochelle, she goes into girl boss mode. She works at the park snack shack and also helps tutor other students for cash. At least, tutoring was the plan, but this kid Tom, a team/classmate, offers her a good amount to straight up give him the test answers during Mr. Brown's civics class. He stupidly gives his seat to Kai, setting up the events we seen take place in the previous episode. Except now, we see why Vanessa went in so hard on Mr. Brown. Rochelle lied and said that the test answers were not hers. Vanessa believes her at face value. She rides so hard for Rochelle, yet in other instances throughout the show, we see Vanessa to be neglectful. I thought I hated Lena, but I found a much more deplorable character in Vanessa. I didn't like her in the last episode, and I really don't like her here. Being a parent is hard, and there's a certain amount of sacrifices that come along with the territory. Missing your child's game-winning play because you're too busy taking selfies in the bleachers? Come on, you can't do that. Quitting your job to be a full-time influencer as a single parent when you're already struggling to make ends meet? You can't do that. Leaving the baby with your 7th grade child so you can go out at night? You really can't do that. Despite Vanessa's lackluster showing as a mother here, she does show admiration for Rochelle by buying her a pair of new cleats, writing a sweet note on the box expressing as much. So it's heartbreaking when we get to the part where Rochelle tries to sell them online. The episode has some great callbacks from within and earlier episodes. At the start of this episode, we see Rochelle selling snacks at the snack shack and using the tips towards her money to play next season. In the line of patrons is Odo, the orange soda chugger from the first episode. We see him buying the soda, but he's 50 cents short, which Rochelle covers by using the money from her tip jar. Also in the line is Relle, a bleacher creature who helps set Rochelle up in the third act. A setup which leads Rochelle to a payphone, but with no money to call Vanessa. This is when Odo shows up out of nowhere to give Rochelle that 50 cents he owed her. It's a bittersweet moment because the show closes on, spoiler alert, Rochelle pleading for her mom to answer to no avail. Another callback was from episode 1, when Lori is praying for a hit. She promises not to do a quote unquote thing and how she doesn't know where God stands on that topic. What topic? I think it's obvious. In this episode, Rochelle says Lori is looking buff and asks if she's been juicing. Lori answers no, nervously, clutching her book tight and blushing as she does so. This show is much more mature than its vibrant animation style would suggest. I like the way they handle the girl boss trope more realistically. Rochelle doesn't just work at the snack shack and tutor and sell her cleats online because she wants to. She has to. Softball is her life and she's raising the money on her own to play next season. And the reason she has to do this is because Vanessa just keeps making bad choices. She quit her job to be an influencer. She bought cleats that they couldn't afford. She's constantly shopping online. And why is she a single mother of two? I'm not putting all the blame on her. I know it's hard to be a single mom. It's easy for a guy to just get up and leave. Kids want their moms more than their dads. Like, trust me, I see it. Like, I'm not important to... Rochelle is 12, which we'll find out later that Vanessa just turned 30. Putting her at 29 the week this episode takes place. She was a teen mom. Rochelle never mentions a dad, so I'm guessing he's been out of the picture since birth. And Zane is an infant, so what does that tell us? She makes bad choices. And this is the role model Rochelle has to look up to? If this is where the show ended, Vanessa would have her own Reddit community dedicated to trash talking her. Look, don't get me wrong, I'm sure she's fun at the club. And yeah, she looks good. I'll give her credit where credit's due. We've all Googled thick Latina in a search bar too. But as a mom here, I just can't take her serious. She put the final nail in her coffin on this episode. But what did y'all think? Let me know if you disagree or agree with my takes on this episode. I appreciate your time either way. I'll see y'all next time for Vanessa's episode. Drop a like, drop a comment, drop a hot load. I'll catch you on the flip side. Peace out.